Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
All right. Shalom, everybody. Shalom. It is Elder Rawchaa, and it's Tuesday night, and we here and we ready to go. Like I promised last week, we're going to be going into this beautiful book right here called the G.O.C.C. First off, because I have a new hookup, I just really need to really quick. Glad to see all of you guys. I got one of my other mics hooked up today. I got like 3-4 mics over there. So I got this one hooked up today. I got tired of my Yeti, so I got this other mic up today. So I just want to make sure that I can hear you. I mean, you guys can hear me loud and clear, because if not, I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic up just a little bit. Let me know, can you guys hear me loud and clear, if you don't mind. If you can't hear me, just let me know. I'll turn it up a little bit. Just go ahead and let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. All right. Bring it a little closer to me. You guys are all clear, because I don't want to have to yell. A lot of times with my other mic, I had to yell. And I just really want to just be relaxed. So, all right, well, we're clear. And if you know, as long as enough people say we're clear, we're good. All right, so I got it a nice clear, but turn up a bit, please. All right, somebody wants me to turn it up, okay? All right, well, I'm turning this thing up. I'm loud and clear. All right, well, we good. I turned it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Obviously, I can bring it a little closer, but I think we pretty good here. Booyah, booyah. Can you turn it up a bit? Low, kind of low. Okay, some people. All right, I got to turn up just a little bit more, so I got to go all the way to 100. I got to go all the way to 100. All right, that's how we going to do it then. We good like that. Loud and clear. That's peaking right there, boy. But that's how they want it. Good Lord, I don't know. Listen, I got to turn that thing down just a little bit. I'm looking at it's going through, close to the red. Because when I get crunk, and then it's gonna be too loud. Hold up. Hold up now. Don't do me like that. I don't be doing all that talking. I just have to talk today. So let me just turn it down just a little bit. Hold up now. Let me turn it down just a little bit. Somebody say you way better. Hold up. Can I go down just about 3 decibels? 3 dBs. Somebody say whoop whoop. Yeah, we want to be clear for the show. Okay, so we can let them know. Turn it down. I have earphones in. I can't please everybody now. Where do I get my shirts? Oh man, here we go. You want that fine linen? You want that fine linen and that 100% cotton, that algodon. Well, if I told you, I had to hurt you. No, I'm just joking. But well, I can't put it out like that because I can't put it out like that. Lion and King got some stuff coming soon. But you know it's all linen. You know, it's all linen. You feel me? But I got you. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We're going to hook you up. Okay? As a matter of fact, I could do some giveaways for these shirts. You know what I'm saying? That's what I can do. But you got to have a little muscles under. You can't just put it on it. See, if I'm giving you some clothes, I'm just sorry to tell you, I'm not against nobody who didn't let themselves get out of shape. But if I give it to you, you can't look regular. No offense, but everybody done fell down and fell off. I need to see a little cut somewhere. You know, I'm just saying. I got rules. I want you to be your best and not your less. Okay? So anyway, we have a beautiful lesson tonight. We're going to talk about, you know, these brothers, and it's crazy because we're in the Feast of Lights right now, and it's very similar to the time of the Maccabees, what we're going to talk about tonight. It's very similar. So I thought that since last week we couldn't go into it, that I would actually go into it today. Okay? I would actually go into it today. The story, you know, it's an actual passage. Let me let you guys know we're going to be going in Book 18, Antiquities of the Jews, Chapter 9. But I will be able to put it on the screen, so I won't actually have to read from the book itself. I found it online, and I think we're going to be just fine here. Now, before we go in, and I know they're going to bring me my good old Lion's Brew tea up in here. If you want to get you some Lion's Brew tea, you know what I'm saying. If you want to get you some Lion's Brew tea, I'm going to just tell you the truth. This is where you're going to have to go and get it. Listen, the first week, they thought I was joking. I don't joke about this. And I'm going to tell you how it go before we go to the history times out. I'm going to tell you how it go. I'm going to just keep it real. See, until you be around me enough and know when I say I'm going to do something, it's going to get done. It's not no talking. And that my taste is from heaven. You just not going to understand until you be on this homestead and eat one of these homestead meals. I'm just telling you. When you get this tea, it's made by blessed heavenly hands. Okay. And, they get that frothiness on top. You put your little sweetener in there, whether it's honey, whether it's sucanat. Sucanat is like the natural brown sugar. It ain't that sweet as the other one, but it's a little expensive. Or you get you some, whatever sweetener you like. But you got to if you don't put the cream, the heavy whipping cream and with frothiness on top, and you don't put you a little vanilla, because we make our own vanilla at home. You got to put you a little vanilla in that thing. I'm telling you how it go. Put you a little vanilla in there. Make the frothiness on top. And then have a woman's hands bring it to you. If you ain't got no woman now, you got to make it yourself. It's all good, though. You might have to make it at work. But make your wife or a sister teach you how the thing go. And then you sip that thing like you at Starbucks. Starbucks ain't got nothing on that. I'm going to tell you that right now. Everything I got in this tea, I'm going to tell you right now. Dandelion root, dandelion leaf, burdock root, chicory root, scillion, cinnamon, black tea, stinging nettle leaf, moringa powder, cacao powder, soursop leaf powder. Now, I will say this. If you are pregnant, unfortunately, you can reach out to us and we can make you a custom. If you're pregnant, okay, we can make you a custom tea for you. But you're going to have to reach out to us. We can make you one that's custom. Because you cannot just be dealing with moringa powder when you are having a baby like that, okay? So you always have to just look these things up. Now, after the baby is out, you good. But you know, when you have moringa is a very powerful good thing, but you don't want to take it hibiscus, raspberry leaf and certain things like that when you are pregnant, okay? Now, some you should be taking. In my opinion, in my opinion, It's a lot of benefits and research on it, iodine. But we'll go into that on a whole nother show when it comes to some of these powerful things. And some of these things that I will bring out on the academy that we're going to go into next. Okay? So, let me go to historytimes.org really quick. Thank you very much. See, speaking of that beautiful tea, it's right here, baby. There you go. And guess what? It's coming from some women's hands. Ooh-wee. Look at, you can see that frothiness on the camera. You can see the frothiness on the camera, boy. I'm going to tell you right now. I'll make you want to dance like Hammer. So, I know you heard that on that mic. It's real nice and it's real tight. Woo! So, I'm going to jump straight into our historytimes.org Hebrew and Bible Academy. See, I had to bring this mic out because I can't be yelling all day because I be having long days and we can't be yelling like that. You know what I'm saying? I be having anxiety and be just too crunk. So I said, I got to get my podcast mic out and that's just what we going to do. That's how we going to do it. You can add this to your coffee as well if you want to. All right, if you still want to drink your coffee. Anyway, it's anti-everything tea. Historytimes.org. Historytimes.org. Hebrew and Bible Academy. Okay. Sunday, December 14th, 2025. You want to go ahead and start enrolling. Okay. Because that's when the next one is going to start. All right. The seats are always filling up fast, just so you know. So make sure you get your seat like it's a brand new movie that's coming out. Unfortunately, they don't have good movies anymore. Everything is about the series. But this is the real series that you want to listen to and watch because I'm going to tell you, lots of people do not understand what's going on in the times of the end right now. They just don't. And we are very grateful and thankful to the Most High that he have blessed our elders to be able to bring out this type of information. Okay. And let me tell you the theme of this one. This Academy's theme is beyond 2025. Very important time that we're living in. We're actually living prophecy right now. We are those valley of dry bones that the world tries to deny, but they just can't deny it, baby. You just can't deny who we are. You know what I mean? I mean, let me tell you. Everybody wants to be racist. And I just sent something to Elder Rawchaa about, that's something I didn't know. I just didn't know. I knew the Russians knew that we are the children of Israel. I mean, it's in their books, Russian icons and things like that. They know. A lot of them over there are racist, but a lot of them know on the low who we are. I found out that a black man, you guys probably know, helped the Russian language evolve. A black man. Yeah. His dad, I think, was from Africa. And it said that he was now the way they wrote it, it said that he was Jewish. Okay. And they tried to slide in. He might have been of Arabic or Jewish. Listen, we know what he was because Jacob is the former of all things, because his God works through him. We are the innovators and the creators of things. We have been making languages and we make language today. We go to school and then we created Ebonics. We created this, you understand, informal language. We create these new words and things every day that become accustomed to society that they end up injecting in their new books to teach us. Okay. So yeah, listen, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a lot of people don't know. And I am not making this up. The spelling of his literal name. I don't know what you're talking about. He's us. What does that mean? This Jesus, he's us. Y'all trying to put together, or am I? Let it be. Anyway, because that'd be philosophy. But anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Swarthy, however you want to spell it. And I'm not even joking. When you look this up, this is what you're going to find. Schwarz means black and Neger means black. And he's Austrian. So all of this in Latin and German and all of this, these words mean black. More means black. So you want to get into these academies because you're going to learn a lot of history of how we created, innovated who we are, who the nations are, about the empires of the world that no one knows. Some of these nations don't even know what God calls them because they are, so in depth with the lies that their forefathers taught them. Yeah, some of them are so deep into these lies that their forefathers taught them. But I'm going to tell you, our church, man, since we started, it's been so powerful because we have not shut up the gospel by allowing all nations to come to Christ. Because it's one thing that they attach to us, but then they don't know where this talent and this power that and this innovation that where it comes from, the origin of it. And guess what? It comes from our God. It comes from our God. So yes, they'll be attached to that, but then eventually they're going to want to know the fullness of it. And we'll just say, hey, it's our God who gave us this. Even in our lowest state, he was able to bless us in this time. All right. This academy's lessons, how Israel prepared to leave Egypt, the wilderness, how Israelites lost Jerusalem, the book of Josephus, something of which we're going into tonight, just the passage. Ishmael, the silent enemy of Israelites. Okay, Ishmael is the Arabs. Okay, just so you guys know. Jews, an in-depth lesson on the synagogue of Satan. If you want to know who the synagogue of Satan is, the sons of perdition, the people who rule everything like we once did before, until our forefathers fell from their sins, all you have to do is go to historytimes.org. AI technology in the days of Noah. There's nothing new under the sun. What you see today is what was going on in the times of Noah, of why he had to create an ark, knowing that the Most High was going to have to destroy the earth for what was happening in that time. Clones, artificial intelligence or ancient intelligence, giants, hybrids, okay? Things that we don't necessarily have every fact on because we know they exist because our God told us they exist. So we have faith in his word. But we know these things are going on and we can see where things are going. But we're going to go into the scriptures to show you how it can relate today and where it came from in the past. Also, just so you guys know, it is a 3-month online course on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? Viewable for 30 days each. You get a nice PDF guide to go along with, all right? They also teach you Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, not this stuff where they be adding. That's not how the fly black people speak. We don't got no we don't got none of that stuff going on. Because I'm going to tell you, if we had to speak that joint, we had to make it the way ain't no spit coming out our mouth. Because when we spit, we don't literally mean spit. When we mean spit in slang, we mean we dropping it on you. Okay, I can't roll up to no girl and try to holler and tell my name is nah, brother, that ain't fly. I don't care how good you look, what clothes you have on. You ain't gonna get one of the Judite chicks talking like that. I can tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. All right. So this language they have in Israel today, no offense, but it's lacking a little salt. It's lacking a little salt, a little garlic powder, a little onion powder. They might got a little salt and pepper, but they ain't got no garlic powder. I can tell you that. They ain't got no Louisiana hot sauce on it. Okay, I'm just telling you the truth. So, And the reason I'm saying that because they got them Wizard of Oz lion locks on the side. That ain't the real locks. See, these are the real locks. The cotton. The wool. Okay? So, yes, you will learn ancient Hebrew. You will learn ancient Hebrew. All right? So come and check us out. If you cannot watch it on Sundays, it's all good. Don't worry about it. You're going to be able to get it, okay, record it for yourself. Just don't share with your family because this is specifically for you. Okay? You're going to also get news from our elder all the way from Europe. Okay, where they be on them tea and them biscuits and them beans in the morning. And guess what? All the way from that side of the world, you're going to get some beautiful news from one of my brothers, really close brother of mine, Elder Rawchaa. You know, he going to give you what he's got. That's my brother, man. I love my brother and I miss him. He know I got the clown with him. You know what I mean? So, anyway, this is our Hebrew and Bible Academy. Once again, make sure if you want to join, you go to historytimes.org. We don't care what religion you are in. You will learn something. And when I say learn something, you're going to put your book down. If you truly want to learn, about God, the God of all gods, and you probably think that your God is the God of all gods, you're probably going to be like, who is these black people talking about? They have the God of all gods. Well, how could we not have the God of all gods? In our lowest state, we are the only people that the world is following. And I'm not saying that to condescend or brag or to be boastful. We are not boastful people. We just know we fly. We know where we come from. That's all it is. We know it. Okay? So we know the whole world is watching us when we have nothing. When our God gives us our kingdom to come, don't you want to be a part of that? Don't you want to be a part of that beautiful, peaceful kingdom? So come in here and find out what's going on. You can watch us tonight. You can watch us tomorrow on our other channel called A Gathering 144. Okay? And on Thursday, we come back on here on G.O.C.C. Media. And then on Friday, we're coming back to, you understand, spank the world's behind again on Friday, which is the Sabbath. While everybody's worshiping on Sunday, hey, it's all good. Do what you're going to do. But the Bible says the seventh day. Sabbath means 7. September means 7. And let me tell you, we worship on the Sabbath, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Okay, we can tell you when the winter days start, when the summer days start, when the fall day and the spring days start, according to God's calendar. All you have to do is come to historytimes.org and become a student. Or dig through our treasure chest on A Gathering 144 and see if you can find all of these lessons. Now, we got some powerful lessons for people out there. One of them is, what's that one? 12 Tribes Found. I think that's the title of it. You got that one. And what's another powerful one that people wake up from? You guys know it out there. We got 12 Tribes Found and the True Name of God. These are some of the most powerful lessons that if you are new to our channel, you can give them to your family. You can check them out. They might look a little old, but let me tell you, sometimes the old is what brings it home. It was no touch-ups, distractions. It was just getting it straight out of the dirt, straight out of the mud. And it's good because you can see where that church have started from then with the work and where they are now. So, and I'm going to tell you guys out there. So I seen a comment last time. We don't really answer the comments. But I just thought it was cute how somebody came on here and say, we know Elder Rawchaa and Lawya. We don't know you. Let me tell you, that don't hurt my feelings, baby. You listen, a grown man's feelings is not going to get hurt by nobody's words. That don't mean nothing. But I'm going to thank you for coming to view our lesson. If you don't want to watch something, why would you come here? And you're not going to do what Paul said you shouldn't do. I'm of Paul. I am of Apollos. Don't you know I was here before this church was called the Gathering of Christ Church? I was here. So maybe you don't know me. But guess what? I don't know you either. So, hey, just like Christ said, He who denies the Father, you're gonna get denied. And I'm not the Father. But just like you don't know me, I don't know you either. And I don't care if you know me or not, because guess what? I'm just a servant. And I don't have pride to be a servant of Christ. And I don't have pride to be a servant of Elder Rawchaa, the man who taught me. So if you only know him, keep knowing him. But if he put me to do a job, and guess what? And I'm in charge of that job, unfortunately for you, you still got to follow it. Because if you don't, we definitely ain't going to know you. Okay? So what I'm saying is, don't be like the trolls on there leaving negative comments. It's just a waste of time. Just keep it to yourself. Learn to have some honor. And we're going to talk about something like this tonight. We just have so much pride as a people. And listen, if you just got to know me, I'm just a lovable person. And when I'm teaching against spirits, not people. You just don't know me. You didn't give the time to know me. And guess what? I really don't care if you know me or not, or I really don't give a damn. That's just the truth about it. For those who have ears to hear, let them hear. If you don't want to hear it, only watch Elder Rawchaa. Because guess what? I'm for that too. Because if it's going to save your soul, that's what I'm for. Okay? So listen, you can't hurt little one's feelings, baby girl or baby man, whatever you want to call yourself. You can't hurt my feelings. See, you can't be an Israelite because you worrying about some silly. Okay? Anyway. And you don't know if you leave a silly comment like that, you know, you're going to have all these people praying for you. Because that's what you need more than anything is prayer. Let me stop it. Anyway, let's first, before we start, go into Proverbs 16:8 before we go into our passage tonight. Let me get that really quick for you guys. And let me see. I have to put this out there. Just so you guys know, there are no Facebook teachers. Okay? There's no Facebook teachers. If these people are not anointed in our church as leaders to teach, okay, there is no Facebook teachers. So if you see young men getting inspired, and they inspire people through their own Facebook channels, it's nothing wrong with them talking about the Bible. But when people are having an actual setup every day and coming out and teaching, I'm going to put it out there so people are not confused. There are not any Facebook teachers. You don't see me teaching on Facebook. You see me inspiring through homesteading. You see me inspiring through my gym to keep people exercising. But when I teach, I am anointed to come and teach for this church. Elder Rawchaa is anointed. Elder Lawya is anointed. Elder Rawchaa, this is, of course, Elder Rawchaa. We come and teach for our church. That's all I'm saying. But if people are trying to gather souls from our church that we have, put work into to get, then that's if you ever see that, all you have to do is just go to your area leader, and then we will fix it up. Okay, so that's just all I'm saying out there. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but we have a lot of young men, and sometimes we see sisters who they start off on Facebook and things like that, and they're saying something, and before you know it, they have a whole podcast of teaching, and they are not anointed, and that means they don't know the Bible. They don't know the Bible. Giving inspiration, it's all good. I mean, there's so many different ways to give inspiration, guys. Exhortation. But sisters are not supposed to teach. Okay? Give it up. Just give it up. All right? I'm just putting it out there. Just want to put that out there for people. People just get a little excited. I'm not saying you can't give a few words. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't read the Bible. I'm not saying every now and then you're not going to inspire somebody through scriptures or testimony. But when you full on teaching and talking about I'm gonna see you next week and all, listen, no, we can't. This is not something you want to play with and just jump in. Do you know the punishments that come from leaders if you fail? All right, we wouldn't wish those punishments on you. We have a hard job. Okay, so we're going to go to Proverbs 16, like I said. Proverbs 16 and 18, all right? I'm glad I have this mic because, excuse me, I like I said, I just want to relax and not yell because I'll be having long days. And maybe every now and then I might get a little crunkety crunk. But, yeah, So, just want to put it out there. And I'm going to tell y'all really need to, as I get this scripture, Proverbs 16 and 18, man, spend time getting good. Spend time getting good at something that will be very important off grid for the body. Spend time with that. Something that will give you finances, possibly, or connections or something to barter with. Okay, do that because it will be needed. Trust me, my brothers, there will be so much work, more than enough work for you. Okay, now we do have a program coming up about the Maccabees program for the young men. And listen, I just don't know why everybody wants to be a teacher. And when I say want to, it's two wants. You got a want because a person wants vanity, vainglory. Then you have a want because a person just genuinely wants to do the work of the Most High. That's a beautiful want, but it's not forced and it takes patience. And it's not on that person's time. It just happens through the Spirit, if you know what I mean. So it's going to be more than enough work. All right. Well, let me tell you, when we're forced to live in the wilderness or whatever type of scenarios, we're going to need a lot of help from people. And if everybody's trying just to be a teacher, it's like, hey, we still already have enough teachers. We need teachers in other things, sewing, slaughtering animals, whatever the case may be, just different things. People who know how to put up solar, people who know how to put together what these people are doing in third world countries. They're making pipes and stuff out of bamboo. They're building whole houses and stuff out of bamboo and wood. And we need things like that. And not just only that either. We need a diverse amount of talents to build a community. That's what I'm saying. If you're not clearly understand what I'm saying, all right? Even I'm watching on a Sabbath sometimes after the lesson, I come home and I'm watching how are they building when things, if the grid is shut down, what are they doing? I'm watching how are these guys, I'm constantly trying to get better as a farmer, as a gardener. I don't know it all. I'm pretty good at whatever I do, but even with that, we always try to get better. All right? So, Proverbs 16 and 18 says what? Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Okay? So, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. Pride. You can do all the good work in the world that you want to do. And then what can happen is it can all be for naught because of your pride. It can happen. Trust me. So it's about pacing yourself. Like Paul said, you don't run to beat the air, meaning you're not shadow boxing. You're actually really training to actually win. This is not where you got, like I see fighters going in the gym, the bodybuilding gym, trying to show off their moves. But I remember when I went and asked one, I'm like, do you actually fight? And he's like, oh no. But he's up in there killing it, trying to intimidate people. You know what I mean? And I was like, brother, go in there where the actual fighters are. I mean, you look pretty good to me. But he's afraid to go in that. So we're not doing the truth to show off. We're not. Okay? Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit, a cocky spirit from a man or a haughty spirit from a woman before a fall. All right? Better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide spoil with the proud. All right. So the pride, people get very zealous and they start to think they know it all because they're an Israelite, not remembering somebody had to give them that truth. God had to bless somebody to give them that truth, and they just kind of like just get so caught up in themselves, and it's like, you're not that deep. None of us are that deep. We should be thankful and blessed of what the Most High did. And we're going to get ready to talk about it right now. I'm actually excited to go into the scripture. Okay. Not scripture. This history book called the Josephus. Okay. It is Antiquities of the Jews, Book 18, Chapter 9. I went to worthychristianbooks.com to find the source. Thankfully, they had it. I'm actually shocked that some Christian churches have some of these things, but, you know. Oh, yeah, we ignore the haters, but sometimes I like to shine a little light of Christ on them, just to give them a little wisdom that they sometimes want to think that they're making you feel low when they should feel low. You cannot address every comment, and usually we don't address any comments. Usually if I leave them there, sometimes the people who are young, they will try to take vengeance on them in a good way because they love their elders and things like that. But sometimes I will just delete them and send them into gigabyte land and let them know you just wasted your energy. But I did that for you so people won't gang up on you, because nobody's going to let you just jump on their elders. Just like a person asked me on my TikTok, they said, I hope you don't eat your animals. And I told them, I said, listen. And she called herself Miriam the prophet or something. I don't know who she is. May God bless her soul. But I told her I don't put barbecue sauce. I put barbecue sauce on it and I eat it. I definitely eat my animals. So I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, it's finger licking. And guess what else? When they drop a little crap on the ground, it feeds the vegetation that you eat. So you are I don't know what you want to call that, but the plants your plants, the plants you eat beef. They eat beef poop. It comes up and it recycles and they eat it. And then you eat the beef through the plants. I'm just saying, so you can't get deeper than Christ. He came back in the spirit and ate fish. He was like, man, y'all got some fish around here? That's how you can tell that was a brother. He came back in the spirit. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna tell you right now, people gotta live, man. People listen. People gotta listen. They gotta live. They gotta live a little life. Live a little bit. 1 second, let me fix this. So let's go into this. Let's go into this really quick. I had these big old earphones and they be giving me a headache. I got these big, nice earphones, and I don't like wearing these big earphones all day. So I was like, nah, give me the little simple stuff so I can relax in the show. So you guys ready? You ready to go into this? Don't be like these brothers in a sense that when the Most High had grace and mercy on them, like all of the other kings and leaders, or us when we came out of Egypt, we started to smell ourselves. We started to become spoiled. Okay, let's talk about it. Happy Feast of Dedication. What befell the Jews that were in Babylon on occasion of Asinius and Anilius, two brothers. Let's go. I'm going to break it down for you. A very sad calamity now befell the Jews that were in Mesopotamia. This is when we were in ancient Babylon, okay, under the East Indians, and Parthia under the Persians, and especially those that dwelt in Babylonia. Inferior, it was to none of the calamities which had gone before, and came together with a great slaughter of them, and that greater than any upon record before, concerning all which I should speak accurately, and shall explain the occasions whence these miseries came upon them. There was a city in Babylonia called Nirda, not only a very populous one, but one that had a good and large territory about it. And besides its other advantages, full of men also. It was, besides, not easily to be assaulted by enemies. If you know modern day, you can look up countries that are very hard to go against when it comes to war. Iran is one of them, okay? So this is exact. This was in ancient history still. From the river Euphrates encompassing it all around, and from the wells that were built about it. There was also a city, Nisibis, situated on the same current of the river. For which reason the Jews, depending on the natural strength of these places, deposited in them that half shekel which everyone by custom of our country offers unto God, as well as they did other things devoted to him. For they made use of these cities as a treasury, whence at a proper time they were transmitted to Jerusalem. So just like Paul told the people when he went to Corinth about giving money and donations for the poor and charity for the poor on Sunday, he was not talking about paying tithes. He was just saying, so when he comes, a bunch of people wouldn't be gathering and wasting time, already have the money ready so that they can bring it to Jerusalem. Even when we were in captivity, these things were going on. Okay, so as you see, even though we were in captivity, just like we are now, we still paid tithes to our God. We still gave donations. We still gave charity to the church to make sure that our people prospered. We did not let our people not go without. That's just how we were. So we cannot lose that mindset just because the Christian church have put a whipping on us that we're just supposed to figure this thing out. No, guys, we are all we have. If the Jews don't have each other, who do we have? It's us and our God. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there really quick. There was always money. It was no thing about tithes of a niece and stuff. That's just extra things in the ancient times that they would offer corn, but there was always money, okay? So let's go. So they were very happy about the fact that this place was very hard to attack or to siege due to its current landscape, okay, and territory with swells of water and the Euphrates River, okay? So this is why they made the treasury here, okay? So I just want to put that out there. Let's continue here. Let's see, where do we leave off? They don't have any really good markers here. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I can do that for you to keep you up. All right, so let's go here. So let's start back right here. And many 10,000 men undertook the carriage of those donations out of fear of the ravages of the now Parthians, to whom the Babylonians were then subject. So although we were under the Babylonians, the Persians, okay, or the Iranians, modern day, end up taking over the Babylonians. And you can learn that more about that in the book of Daniel, or you can come to our historytimes.org and learn in the Hebrew and Bible Academy a little bit more about these empires and these beasts that were prophesied to take over, okay? So we would go through highways, but we had to, just like we do today, all of us have like little groups and gangs and cliques and stuff like that. This was always so. We always stuck together, you understand, in little bands and stuff like this. Because in those days, we were protecting things of the Most High. All right? Because we would get robbed. If you watch things like Game of Thrones, then you can understand a little bit better. So, let's go here. Now, there were two men, Asinius and, I hope I'm saying his name right, Anilius, okay, of the city of Neerda by birth, and brethren to one another. They were destitute of a father, and their mother put them to learn the art of weaving curtains. It not being esteemed disgrace among them for men to be weavers of cloth. So it's saying there was nothing wrong for them to learn that, even though they didn't have a father and they grew up with their mother. And I'm bringing this lesson out because it can relate and is very relative today of how a lot of us don't grow up with fathers and the mindset that we may have and the journey we may have until we end up coming to the truth, to the knowledge of the truth, and some of the mistakes and some of the trials and some of the tribulations we may go through. So I was showing you this tonight because what we are going through in Babylon now, they were going through this even in ancient Babylon. And this is a powerful story here. So today you'll have stories like Big Meech. I give you an example for Big Meech or some drug lords or something who they end up trying to hustle or do whatever the case is to get money because maybe they didn't grow up with both parents, whatever the case may be. And they end up making it very big, and they call them today kingpins. So that's a story that they had to tell. But eventually, through their pride, they end up falling. So this story tonight will be very similar to some of these stories today. Okay? So, now he that taught them that art was set over them, complained that they came too late to their work, and punished them with stripes. So back then, the grown-ups were even getting stripes. Okay, the teenagers were getting stripes. They come late to work, you're getting whipped. Now, how can we compare that to modern day? Young men like me asking around when I'm working at Jiffy Lube, I'm like, hey, how much you get paid? How much you get paid? How much you get paid? I am not against any man working and providing a living for his family, but because I didn't see any like greatness or what I would say was greatness in my family as far as money wise. I saw greatness as far as love and things like that, but I didn't see anybody like doing anything that could leave generational wealth. I was always that person to say, hey man, I have to do better than, the past generation to try to just bring better for the next generation. I didn't want to work these little jobs. So unfortunately, like any other brother or sister, I just, I wanted money now. I did. And I was raised very well. I mean, I was raised in the ghetto and poverty, but I still was raised with honor, respect, and manners. But my mindset was just like, I see these white people out here over our people. I just don't like it. And so these young men, very similar. They like, they coming to work late. They probably were getting tired of doing the same old thing. But let's see how this story ends up. Okay? But they took, excuse me. But they took this punishment as an affront and carried off all the weapons which were kept in that house, which were not a few, and went into a certain place where was a partition of the rivers, and was a place naturally very fit for the feeding of cattle, and for preserving such fruits as were usually laid up against winter. The poorest sort of the young men also resorted to them, whom they armed with the weapons they had gotten, and became their captains. Check that out. Now, what's going on here? They got tired, and they said, listen, we finna be like the brothers in Chicago. We finna be like the brothers in the Bronx or Brooklyn or New York on the block or whatever the case may be. Y'all take these weapons. We tired of this crap. We got to make a change. We tired of this captivity. We tired of this. We tired of that. So they got to ban the men. And just like we do in our neighborhoods today, they were doing way back then. They were doing way back then, guys. There's nothing new under the sun. It's always, this is how you could tell the stories of slavery are just not so true in every sense of every aspect. There's always going to be some men who just can't do it to the fullest of everything. Okay, not that it's good, bad, whatever. I'm just saying there's just always going to be some scenarios like this. Okay, so they got these weapons. They put them a little army together because at the end of the day, what rules and who rules a country? I don't care if you have a king. The military in might rules a country. And God himself is a man of war. Am I saying that God is telling us to take vengeance? No, I'm telling you what happened in history. And I think the Most High was watching to see where this thing would go and how it would play out. Just like what happened with the Maccabees. He ended up intervening and helping the Maccabees because in their mind, they were praying to the Most High, trying to follow right and do right by their people. Right? But these young men here, they just got very tired and said, man, listen, we're going to have to find something better. Modern day, this is your people who is doing different type of, things to get jobs, hustling. Right? Check it out. Let's go. Let's see here. All right. So weapons they had gotten and became their captains, and nothing hindered them from being their leaders into mischief. For as soon as they were become invincible and had built them a citadel, they sent to such as fed cattle and ordered them to pay so much tribute out of them as might be sufficient for their maintenance, proposing also that they would be their friends if they would submit to them, and that they would defend them from all their other enemies on every side, but that they would kill the cattle of those that refused to obey them. So they hearkened to their proposals, for they could do nothing else, and sent them as many sheep as were required of them, whereby their forces grew greater, and they became lords over all they pleased, because they marched suddenly and did them a mischief. Insomuch that everybody who had to do with them chose to pay them respect, and they became formidable to such as came to assault them, till the report about them came to the ears of the king of Parthia or Persia himself. Check that out. So, check this out. So they got their men together, and they said, listen, we're going to need food. We got to survive. We got to stay strong. So they built their strength through certain tactics. Some would say it's bullying. But it's really no different than what a king in a capitalistic government does today. You do this or else. That's how it usually starts off when you take over an empire. So let's not say that these men would totally... I'm not saying what they did is good at all. I'm not saying what they did is good. But when I'm comparing it to what the Gentiles do, it's a little light to what the Gentiles do, okay? So, but when the governor of Babylonia understood this and had a mind to put a stop to them before they grew greater, and before greater mischiefs should arise. So now they bring the ancient feds on them. The feds is watching them in the ancient times. He got together as great as an army as he could, both of Parthians and Babylonians, and marched against them. thinking to attack them and destroy them before anyone should carry them the news that he had got an army together. He then encamped at a lake and lay still. But on the next day, it was the Shabbat. Here we go again, just like Maccabees. Sorry, guys. Which is among the Jews, a day of rest from all sorts of work. He supposed that the enemy would not dare to fight him thereon, but that he would take them and carry them away prisoners without fighting. Very similar to the Maccabees. He therefore proceeded gradually and thought to fall upon them on the sudden. Now Asinius was sitting with the rest, and their weapons lay by them, upon which he said, Sirs, I hear a neighing of horses, not of such as are feeding, but such as have men on their backs. So that's how cold our people was. They knew the difference when the horses were feeding or if somebody was on them. I also hear such a noise of their bridles, that I am afraid that some enemies are coming upon us to encompass us around. Okay? However, let somebody go to look about and make report of what reality there is in the present state of things, and may what I have said prove a false alarm. Okay? All right. And when he had said this, some of them went out to spy out what was the matter. And they came again immediately and said to him, that neither hast thou been mistaken in telling us what our enemies were doing, nor will those enemies permit us to be injurious to people any longer. So basically, they're not going to allow us to do what we're doing any longer. They didn't found out about us. All right. All right. We are caught by their intrigues like brute beasts, and there is a large body of cavalry marching upon us, while we are destitute of hands to defend ourselves withal, because we are restrained from doing it by the prohibition of our law, which obliges us to rest on this day. Very similar to Maccabees, they did not want to fight on the Sabbath because the Sabbath was supposed to be a day of rest. So although they were doing what they were doing, right, they were still following the law of the Most High to a certain degree. They just did not want to be under these people. Now, yeah, they had to kind of become leaders over people who could not. You always have a society where you have certain men of might and strong men. They don't always win, though, because of their pride. But sometimes the Most High is seeing where these people are going to go. You know, if you were in the street life before, you kept saying, man, I'm going to turn this bad to good and all of this. The Most High is watching to see if you're truly going to live up to those words. And most people don't. They become greedy. Women start coming around and vice versa. Okay? That's how it usually happens. You want to do that, but it's almost like the devil is throwing so many things around. Even though you set off like that, it doesn't end up like that, right? So, let's see here. We are caught by their intrigues like brute beasts. Oh, hold up. I already read that part. Let me keep it right here. We're going to be right here, guys. But Asinius did not by any means agree with the opinion of his spy as to what was to be done, but thought it more agreeable to the law to pluck up their spirits in this necessity they were fallen into, and break their law by avenging themselves. When he says break, he's talking about using grace. So just like the Maccabees said, so they would not all die. Although they should die in the action, then by doing nothing to please their enemies and submitting to be slain by them. Accordingly, he took up his weapons and infuse courage into those that were with him to act as courageously as himself. So they fell upon their enemies and slew a great many of them, because they despised them, and came as to a certain victory and put the rest to flight. So they could not, just like some of us today, although we are not racist, we have certain rules about us. It's like, listen, man, I really can't stand these cats, most of them. Some of them cool, but I really can't really just stand them like that. And so we despise those people in that time. And so his pride wouldn't let him do it. He's like, nah, man, I just can't let this happen. So that's what happened. All right. So, but when the news of this fight came to the king of Parthia, he was surprised at the boldness of these brethren, because why? Usually the rest of our people are in submission. So it's very similar to like people in Africa. People in Africa, not all, but a lot of people in Africa will let these Arabs, Chinese smack them around and stuff like that. But unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but people over here ain't going for that. It's just something we grew up. It can be 5 nations against us. We knocking them all out like a bowling ball against bowling pins. It's just certain things we had, like you lost to this or that. Not that other nations can't fight, but we had a certain mindset, right? So over here, when we travel there, they're surprised at our boldness, just like this here of what we're reading about tonight, right? He was surprised at the boldness of these brethren and was desirous to see them and speak with them. He therefore sent the most trusty of all his guards to say thus to them, that King Artabanus, although he had been unjustly treated by you, who have made an attempt against his government, yet hath he more regard to your courageous behavior than to your anger he bears to you. Why? Because this is what they respect. They respect men. They respect warriors. That's why they don't respect the black men today a lot of times who's with the LGBT thing when you travel over there. That's why they don't respect some of the black women, because they see how we are being promoted and put all through Hollywood television. Okay? But they respect the men of any nation who stands up for what they believe in. This is what other nations respect. When you're overseas, in most countries, you have to go to the army there. You have to be a man. Okay? There's no thing about, there's no choice. Okay? So, that's how you have a strong nation, when you have strong men. Not putting up women talking about they're independent and all of this. So when we travel and they hear our sisters talking about they're independent, and we go over there, they don't respect us, because guess what? Our sisters are making us look bad by saying they're independent. And so the men are looking at us like, you can't even control your own women. They're coming over here to Dubai. They're getting crapped on, peed on. It's animals dealing with them, all type of madness. So how can they respect us? And that's why the devil has to try to be very strategic when it comes to our church, because we stand up with our life on the line in all honor and respect for Christ. And we're not racist, none of that. This is what we do. And so that's why, believe it or not, the world powers know who we are. I can tell you that right now. And they know how we're moving. Let me tell you, they got nothing but respect for it. And you're going to be able to see before this empire falls how the Most High is going to turn it all around. Watch. You're going to see. Very similar to what you see in today. But you're going to have to keep doing righteousness, humility, showing humility, because the pride will take everything that we work for away. Check it out. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. He bears, okay. Then to the anger he bears to you, and hath sent me to give you his right hand and security. And he permits you to come to him safely and without any violence upon the road. and he wants to have you address yourselves to him as friends, without meaning any guile or deceit to you. He also promises to make you presents and to pay you those respects which will make an addition of his power to your courage, and thereby be of advantage to you. Yet did Asinius himself put off his journey thither, but sent his brother Anilius with all such presents as he could procure. So he went and was admitted to the king's presence, and when Artabanus saw Anilius coming along, he inquired into the reason why Asinius avoided to come along with him. And when he understood that he was afraid and stayed by the lake, he took an oath by the gods of his country that he would do them no harm, if they came to him upon the assurances he gave them, and gave him his right hand. This is of greatest force therewith all these barbarians, and affords a firm security to those who converse with them. For none of them will deceive you when once they have given you their right hands, nor will any one doubt of their fidelity when that is once given. Even though they were before suspected of injustice, when Artabanus had done this, he sent away Anilius to persuade his brother to come to him. Sorry, these words are so bunched up. Now this king did because he wanted to curb his own governors of provinces by the courage of these Jewish brethren, lest they should make a league with them. For they were ready for a revolt, and were disposed to rebel, had they been sent on an expedition against them. He was also afraid, lest when he was engaged in a war, in order to subdue those governors of the provinces that had revolted, the party of Asinius and those in Babylonia should be augmented, and either make war upon him when they should hear of that revolt, or if they should be disappointed in the case, they would not fail of doing further mischief to him. When the king had these intentions, he sent away Anilius, and Anilius prevailed on his brother to come to the king. So now his brother's finally coming, because he didn't know if the king was trying to trick him or not, that he was going to try to, kill him. So when he had related to him the king's goodwill and the oath that had been taken, accordingly, they made haste to go to Artabanus, who received them when they were come with pleasure, and admired Asinius' courage and the actions he had done. And this because he was a little man to see. He was a little man to see too, and first sight appeared contemptible also. And such one might deem a person of no value at all. So check this out. Not only was this brother in rebellion against those countries there, he was not even a big man. So this is why I tell brothers, they get caught up in size so much. It's about a man's heart. I know some guys 5'4", 5'5" have more heart than a 6'6" man. Sometimes a guy who's 6'7", 6'6", you think because of his size that matches his heart. No. That's not how this thing works. It just doesn't work like that. Like, I know some guys, small, strong, no fear. And for a big guy, sometimes that kind of messes his mind up, that this guy just has no fear to him. And he ends up losing the fight because he has no heart. So Asinius was not actually a big guy. But in war, you're either skillful or you're not, no matter what size. Okay? So they were looking at him like, and check it out. David was like that. David wasn't picked because he was big like his brothers and all that. Not that he was small, but it's not all about being the biggest. The smallest ended up taking the biggest down. David ended up taking down the giant. So I don't even think about size and all that. Okay? Because like I tell you guys, when you're fighting a war, it's really a spirit and your angel of the presence that's turning on to fight the war. Because like I said, you run out of breath, you run out of adrenaline. What's left for you to fight? It's spirit. All right. I was telling this to the body last Saturday. Floyd Mayweather couldn't fight a war. right? And when I mean he couldn't fight it, according to his training, it wouldn't be enough to fight an ancient type of war. Those things are fought with spirits. Your angel of the presence turns on to fight the war. That's why we would come back untouched. It's not just some physical thing you walking around thinking you deep. That's for small little things to protect yourself, your household, and self-defense. But when it comes to war, your angel of the presence is with you already. It is what turns on. That's why we had to go to our God. That's why we had to go to our God every time before we went to war, because he would be with us. It's just not you who won the war. That's all through scripture. So like I said, I never go around sizing men up, because anybody can be touched. Anybody can be touched. You can be champion today. There's always another champion out there. He's just not on TV being broadcast, and he's not being, they're not bringing him to the fight with you. But there's always another person who can beat you. That you can't beat everybody. So don't get caught up in vanity. Just you know what I mean? It's just a waste of time. Okay? When we went to war in the time of the Maccabees, angels came and helped us. When we went to war, we had an Ark of the Covenant. So Israel wants to take pride in the carnality part. That's not why our God made us. It doesn't mean we don't have carnal fights. It doesn't mean that we don't do these things, and we should not be strong enough and exercise to make sure we can protect ourselves. Of course. You can't be some fat slob and then say, hey, man, I'm about to go to war. And the Most High is like, brother, you can't even win a carnal fight, let alone you going to fight the ancient spiritual war. It's not going down. You don't even have the discipline to take care of your own self. You're not going to fight this. I'm not even putting you in this war, because in all reality, you wouldn't be able to fight a normal person. Okay, so we really got to change the way that we think. Okay, let's continue here. And this is not no put down on people. I'm telling you, we are all waking up to what this is and what this is about. It's time for us to bring ourselves back and discipline ourselves to be men of the Most High. Yeah, you're preaching the word and you get caught up in the word and you think it's just all about the word and it's like some Christian type of vibe. No, brother, you need to still get yourself in shape. That's just the truth about it. I still love you regardless of what size you are, but you still need to get yourself in shape. Even if you're going to be a man of war or not, because they have the spirit of gluttony. So let's reverse that spirit so that you can still at least be healthy. You may not be a man of war physically, but guess what? You may help us with your mind. But just because you're going to help us with your mind don't mean you shouldn't keep yourself disciplined. So you either want the truth or you don't. You still going to have love the whole way. All right? Period. And we know and we understand that it's a process. Okay? But I'm just bringing this out just to show you how this thing really goes, okay? I love everybody, but the truth is just the truth. Let's get it. If you're in a wheelchair and you can't do it, you got cats in wheelchairs doing dips, cats holding them up to do pull-ups. It's no excuses. When I messed my leg up, I was walking up and down stairs on crutches, and I was still doing bench with one leg. I only had one leg. So and you know what's sad? You can tell people this till you're blue in the face. I'm not stressing about it. I just put it out there for those who have ears to hear. A grown man or woman gonna do what they want to do. So it's no stress about it. It's just like, hey, at least somebody loved you enough to tell you can do better. And you are better. Okay? So, let's go. Might deem a person of no value at all. So they deemed him of no value at all because of his size. He also said to his friends, how? Upon the comparison, he showed his soul to be in all respects superior to his body. And when, as they were drinking together, he once showed Asinius to Abdagassus, one of the generals of his army, and told him his name, and described the great courage he was of in war. Excuse me. And Abdagassus had desired leave to kill him. So when the king showed Asinius to one of his generals, the general still wanted to kill him for what happened, because that's just how these people are. They just have a hate for us, some of them. But I know he was really hating because he's looking at like, how did this small dude take these people and beat us in war. Like, this dude is small and he's the leader. Modern day, you can see something like that, like a Jay Prince. And I'm not putting up Jay Prince like but I don't know how the Most High is going to use some of these people. So, I can't just knock everybody. Jay Prince is a very small man. But I'm going to give you an example of a rapper and a man like Jay Prince, for example. I know a lot of people say things about Jay-Z, but Jay-Z got held up at the airport from a man, the little short man right there. And, that's all. I'm going to leave it right there and say it like that. He was in a contract with some of these people who live in Israel. All he needed to do is send 2 people, and I'm not making up a story, this is true stories. Send 2 people inside of that building in California, and he made them get him out that contract. And he's just a small man. It's about the mindset, right? And these are the people who Master P and all these people learn from. It's about the mindset of the person. They don't need to have a little man complex. They just men, right? This is something that just can't be taught. This is just a person just decides one day who he gonna be, and hopefully he was probably a lot of times backed by, men who just stand on what they believe in. That's really the old school style. Okay, so this is what this man was here. So that his general wanted to kill him, and thereby to inflict on him a punishment for those injuries he had done to the Parthian government. The king replied, I will never give thee leave to kill a man who had depended on my faith, especially not after I had sent him my right hand and endeavored to gain his belief by oaths made by the gods. But if thou be a truly warlike man, thou standest not in need of my perjury. Go thou then and avenge the Parthian government. Attack this man when he is returned back, and conquer him by the forces that are under your command, without my privity. Hereupon the king called for Asinius and said to him, It is time for thee, O young man, to return home, and not provoke the indignation of my generals in this place any further, lest they attempt to murder thee, and that without my approbation. Check this out. So the king is kind of like a little snake. He likes this guy, but he can't, they don't really discipline their people out there too much like that. They don't whip their children a lot of times and all that. So he told his general, when he get back, if you a truly warlike man, you gonna do what you gonna do anyway, and you gonna go take him out. You know what I mean? So the king did not want any trouble to start there, knowing that we already whipped their behind. So he says, it's time for you to go. We don't want to start no more mess up in here. And I gave you my word, so to a certain degree, it's better you go. I commit thee the country of Babylonia in trust, that it may be by thy care be preserved free from robbers and from other mischiefs. I have kept my faith inviolable to thee, and that not in trifling affairs, but in those that concern thy safety. And do therefore deserve thou shouldest be kind to me. When he had said this and given Asinius some presents, he sent them away immediately, who, when he was come home, built fortresses and became great in a little time. Look at the grace the Most High gave this brother. Look at the grace the Most High gave this brother. This brother started off as a servant. He didn't like his life. He just decided, like, I can't do this. And look at how the Most High is seeing where this thing is going to go. Check it out. He come back building fortresses. It's just like a drug dealer. Make it big. He living fat, living in fame. Let's see where this thing goes. And became great in little time. Fast money. And managed things with such courage and success as no other person that had no higher beginning ever did before him. Those Parthian governors also, who were sent that way, paid him great respect. And the honor that was paid by him by the Babylonians seemed to them all too small. And beneath his deserts, although he were in no small dignity and power there, nay, indeed, all the affairs of Mesopotamia depended upon him. And he more and more flourished in this happy condition for 15 years. So now this brother is actually pulling, listen, his word actually matters in the country. Check that out. So the king kept his word, and this brother is living nice. And let me tell you, this brother had some faith. And his faith was, his faith was according to his knowledge and what he knew at the time. And what he felt he should do. But the Most High allowed him, not that he allowed him to sin, but he's seeing where this thing is going to go. But as their affairs were in so flourishing a state, there sprang up a calamity among them on the following occasion. Whence one they had deviated from that course of virtue whereby they had gained so great power. They affronted and transgressed the laws of their forefathers. Here it goes. Here's the downfall. And fell under the dominion of their lust and pleasures. Oh, Father, over and over, right back into the foundations that we were in. He gets a little money, gets a little fame, gets back under blame, and becomes a lame. Couldn't keep it the same. Had to refrain to be put in the flame and disintegrate his name. Let me stop, man. Y'all know I get to rhyming straight from the dome without a pen. It come from within. You know what I'm talking about? Man, it sucks. Here we go. So he did a little bad, start turning to good, and then turn back to bad with the pride. A certain Parthian who came as a general of an army into those parts had a wife following him, who had a vast reputation for other accomplishments, and particularly was admired above all other women for her beauty. You know us. Back in the day, we got to have the finest woman, especially if you're doing a little something. All the movies, all the Hollywood shows, the rappers, this is just Judah. Judah Benjamin Levi. He just, listen, I got to have her. Got to have her. That's a downfall. Everybody became little Solomons. I was watching Vikings with Ragnar Lothbrok. He had his little wife. Then he seen Princess. He had to have her. And messed his whole life up. David. He had to have that woman. Why, David, why you couldn't? The Most High wasn't even messing with you. You wasn't supposed to have all them wives, but then you gonna go take a man's wife who got a husband already. And then Solomon, he fall into these guys who can't even talk and speak. And he was over them. All for the woman and her beauty. Because you want to please the woman more than your God, and he's the one who gave you all of this, and he could have kept you down from all of the things that you've done to get there. He had grace on you. You went over there bullying your own brothers, telling them you need to give me some of these sheep so we can eat, or we're going to take you out. We had the grace. We had the mercy. Ooh, boy. So now they want a wife from another nation. And me and my wife was just laughing about this earlier because there was a black woman saying, I always heard the black men want to have something exotic. You know why we wanted something exotic? Because we didn't want nothing that was being promoted as hood rat. So now we like, you know what? I got to have some exotic. Can't have no woman talking back, ghetto, all of this stuff. I got to have some exotic. When you get some exotic, here you go. Here comes that downfall. Listen, why you can't just find some exotic from your own nation? Here we go. Anilius, the brother of Asinius, either heard of her beauty from others, or perhaps saw her himself also, and so became at once her lover and her enemy, partly because he could not hope to enjoy this woman but by obtaining power over her as a captive, and partly because he thought he could not conquer his inclinations for her. As soon, therefore, as her husband had been declared an enemy to them and was fallen in the battle, the widow of the deceased was married to this her lover. So her husband falls. Look at history, boy. Same old stuff. Her husband falls in war, and now he gets her. However, this woman did not come into their house without producing great misfortunes, both to Anilius himself and to Asinius also, but brought great mischiefs upon them on occasion following. Since she was led away captive upon the death of her husband, she concealed the images of those gods, which were their country gods, common to her husband and to herself. Now, brothers, how you gonna win war against her people? Take her captive when you could just make her your wife and then let her bring her gods to you? That's like mental illness. That's like lust and stupidity simultaneously. You're over this woman now. Her husband dies in war. You can do whatever you need to do with her. Your God is the one who allowed you to win that war. And you allow her to bring her no gods in there because of her beauty? Brothers, beauty is vain. You could have just had her and made her worship your God. Don't that sound crazy? How simple we be for these women? That woman must have had a striking beauty so much for this man to do that. Ain't no woman that beautiful for me to go to the fire. Lord have mercy. I tell you what. Let's read. Since she was led away captive upon the death of her husband, she concealed the images of those gods, which were their country gods. So she hid her gods, brought her gods with her and hid them, common to her husband and to herself. Now it was the custom that of that country for all to have the idols they worship in their own houses, and to carry them along with them when they go into the foreign land. The East Indians, that's what they do. Agreeable to which customs of theirs she carried her idols with her. Now, how these brothers win a war and don't see this woman carrying these idols in her house, it just gets me. Now, at first, she performed her worship to them privately. So she was sneaking to it at first. But when she was become Anilius's married wife, she worshiped them in her accustomed manner and with the same appointed ceremonies when she used in her former husband's days, upon which their most esteemed friends blamed him at first, that he did not act after the manner of the other Hebrews, nor perform what was agreeable to their laws in marrying a foreign wife. That's what we used to say down here, man. I'm driving a foreign and I got me a foreign woman. That was the thing back then. You got to have you a foreign ride and you got to have you a foreign woman. But look where it gets you. You're now serving foreign gods. This dude, I mean, she must have put it on this brother, because I'm gonna tell you right now, he was a straight warrior and fell to this chick, and they looking like, dude, you all right? You good? You up in there doing Allahu Akbar, whatever. I mean, man, you up in there throwing cow dung. Which one is it? Which one of these things was he doing? You getting the red dot on your head? What's going on? Which one of these things you got going on, brother? Lord have mercy. I tell you. Y'all sisters, let me tell you something. That's another thing why you was born, to have your husbands back, to have your men of Israel back. You want to do all this shaking and all this crazy stuff for these Dubaians, but you don't want to be there for your own men. Don't fall for their deception, because you're gonna be lonely after this. You don't see what's going on out here. It's attractive for a woman to go out of her way for her man. That's what these other nations understand. To be feminine. A man is gonna be man all day long. He just need her, just comfort him and relax him. And you just they've taught you to stay in this masculine spirit. Right? When we was taken captive. You got to come out of that and come in your feminine. Because the longer you stay in this masculinity garbage, you're going to be Kali. But guess what? Kali, at least she got thugs coming and bringing her stuff. The way it's going now, ain't nobody bringing you nothing. You're going to be like that woman who Elijah had to come and make some food for her and her son. Men they are rather to stay alone now than to be with a woman or to fornicate. They'll fornicate and be alone. I'm just telling you how it's going. And these new women coming online trying to tell you and give you the game, but a lot of times they don't have men either. They trying to tell you that so they can get a man. So he can say, ooh, she right. I got to see what her ad is, see where she's at on Instagram. And then she get a man. That's how this thing is going. You're going to be left alone. And now they got sisters coming on here telling you, hey, why are you wasting your 20s? Why are you wasting your 20s? That's the best time for you to have your child, get all this stuff together for the most part. Huh? You sitting here waiting on a Marion or somebody. Let me tell you. Like I said, everybody gonna be a Marion in the kingdom. Don't worry about it. And they gonna be able to dance better, like I told the people on Saturday. Huh? Don't worry about it. If you focusing just on carnality, sisters, these women have something over you that you lost. Bring back your virtuous spirit of Sarah. Don't just call yourself Sarah because you put on a hair wrap and some makeup. You got to really be this. But I don't know how to submit. I don't want to submit. Listen, keep saying that all you want to. When that man decide he gonna go get with a foreign woman, ain't nothing you can do. And listen, I love my sisters, but some of these Gentiles, what my sister told me at church, he said, let me tell you how they think about you. That can't be your hair. They think some of y'all can't even grow long hair because you too busy buying East Indian hair. You're too busy buying lashes. So listen, they laughing at you. That's your real hair. That's what the sister said. She went to work and the East Indian lady told her, that's your real hair? Like if it can't be her real hair. Yeah. Just telling you. Y'all can grow it. You want to keep going that way and you don't have patience because you're worrying about what others think. The person, listen, what the scripture say, in patience possess you your souls. And a man can see that patience, that you took care, you took your time to grow your little locks, or you got your little afro. We love that beautiful afro, that puffy, woolly afro. We love it. And they love it. Huh? But hey, you don't want what a man wants. You don't care what a man wants. You want what you want. So guess what? You want to be alone. I like feminine women. I don't like niggas. That's just the truth about it. I'm going to just keep it real with you. When you trying to talk hard and argue and doing all that, use a nigga. Use a hood rat. You got to get it together, baby, because I'm going to tell you right now. It's so many women out there, it's not going to even matter what you're talking about. It's not going to even matter what you're talking about. And men looking around like, man, we don't even give a damn no more. We don't care. We don't care. You going to be feminine or you got to go. I tell my daughters, listen, and I got good daughters, but I would tell them, you marry, you better do what I taught you to do. Because if that man send you back home, ain't nothing I can do for you. You're going to be at home. You just be a servant around here. Ain't nothing I can do for you. Or you can be lonely, go work, do something, whatever. Do what your mama teach you and what your daddy teach you, and that's it. All this stuff out here, we don't care about it. We ain't worried about it. This is the reality. So even though this woman was bringing her own gods, she must have had some power outside of the gods when it comes to her being feminine. So learn that part. Make this man feel like he the only king and the man in the world. Don't be worrying about the looks of other men. You don't really know about how to pick a person. It's not just about a look. You got handsome men who be on the LGBT stuff. So if you're just picking for the looks, you may get you a man and he's telling you he's coming home late, but really why he's coming home late because he got a boyfriend. So don't listen. A lot of the pretty boys that you want, why you think they call them pretty boys? They pretty for another man. I'm going to just tell you right now. Me and my wife always laugh. We see these so-called pretty boys licking their eyebrow doing all this crazy stuff. And they be on the LGBT thing. I'm going to just tell you right now. I don't know about pretty boys. I know about handsome men. But the pretty boy thing, that's the B2K. You're going to get you Raspy. He's somebody else's raspberry. Unfortunately. So, do you want a man or a little boy? And I'm going to teach you the game once again. It's only a few people who's going to be complete with marrying a young man in his 20s. Thank you so much for that beautiful homemade cranberry juice. I love it. I need it. You go ahead and take that. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Only a few people is going to... Now, they didn't call me no pretty boy back in the day. I was just handsome. I was rough. I played football. I played basketball. And they could call it a pretty boy thing. But let me tell you what I wasn't going to do. I was hanging around some pretty boys who was trying to recruit other pretty boys into these sororities. And I said, I can't get down with that. And so what the women would ask me, they would say, is your friends gay? When I heard they would start asking, was my friends gay because they was too pretty? One of them was from D.C., because D.C. got a certain style where they style is too fly where it looks gay. I'm just keeping it real. Like, I know D.C. cats. D.C. cats, they got a certain style. And I'm not saying all of them, but it's a D.C. thing where we know where the gay people at. San Francisco, Atlanta, D.C. It's like these areas. The pants be too tight. And the women used to say when I was at work, is your friends gay? And I'm like, nah, they're not gay because my friends wasn't gay. But when I start hearing that, then I'm like, okay, I got to move away. They was so fly. It was just too pretty. And they was like, you going to be Donatello. He going to be Michelangelo. He going to be Neil. No, I'm saying, listen, brother, I'm a grown-ass man. I ain't doing none of that. I'm wearing me some G-Unit. I'm going to keep it just like that. I'm chilling. I'm me. And so I stopped having to hang around them like that. So, no, I wasn't no pretty boy. Ain't nothing pretty about me. I might be handsome, but pretty, this for women. Okay, so that's y'all be calling men pretty. You got to stop calling a man pretty. You should have never called a man pretty. You see what I'm saying? Don't call a man pretty. That's y'all. The women was calling men pretty. I never heard another man call another man pretty. So men know men ain't calling men that unless you was hating. A man who's hating is gonna call you a pretty boy because he can't get women. But he's a hater. He shouldn't even be looking at a man like that. Because if he's calling you pretty boy, does he like you? So some of y'all who's in the truth now, you done call somebody a pretty boy. Maybe you was a little rough, but really you was hating because you couldn't get them girls. Why you not a pretty boy? You can't get no women? Yeah, let's stop messing around with this crazy stuff. Anyway, let's go back to this woman. This foreign woman, and I had to give our sisters a little game so that they will not be lonely. You complaining too much, you want too many things that you don't need over and over and over. You're never happy. The man done bought you stuff. You got brand new stuff in the closet because you keep going up and down sizes. I mean, hey, and men don't care about you gonna get your nails done in no Chinese. I'm just telling you, men, as long as you keep them clean and cut, and then what I want, hey, that's what you want. We don't want that. We don't need that. Men don't really like spending money like that. Not that it's bad to do, but it seems like you want something for yourself more than, and women have to have a certain thing. So I'm not saying that they don't. They have to have a certain thing that for themselves to keep themselves on point. That's a mature man understands that. But we not it's not all women not the same. We talking about carnal women. Okay? Carnal women who just focus on the carnality. You got everything else right. You look so good on the outside, but you can't keep a man. You would have thought all the money you spend and the time you spent on your outward that you can keep a man. And then he goes to get with another woman, and then you looking at him like, why is he with her? You don't know. Because she's beautiful on the inside. To the core. And she worshiped the God of Israel. Ahai is his name. You think you worrying about because you got all of this behind. That's what you say. Oh, I got all of this. I know he gonna want me. Huh. We don't even need all that. As you get older, you don't even need all of that. Brothers ain't trying to breathe too hard when they get older, so we don't even need all of this stuff. You brother catch a heart attack out here. We okay now. When a man is mature, he like, man, get in shape. We good. We not in the club scene no more. Let's go. Let's talk about this foreign woman that this man fell from. Blamed him at first that he did not act after the manner of the Hebrews, nor perform what was agreeable to their laws, in marrying a foreign wife, and one that transgressed the accurate appointments of their sacrifices and religious ceremonies. And he ought to consider, lest by allowing himself many pleasures of the body, because she was turning him out, he might lose his principality on account of the beauty of a wife. And that high authority, which by God's blessing, he had arrived at. But when they prevailed not at all upon him, he slew one of them for whom he had the greatest respect because of the liberty he took with him. When he was dying out of regard to the laws, imprecated a punishment upon his murderer Anilius, and upon Asinius also, and that all their companions might come to a like end from their enemies, upon the two first as the principal actors of this wickedness, and upon the rest as those that would not assist him when he suffered in defense of their laws. Now these latter were sorely grieved, yet did they tolerate these things, because they remembered that they had arrived at their present happy state by no other means than their fortitude. So now these brothers is just turning wicked. You got brothers want to stand up for the laws, and they trying to show honor because they know they came up by them. But it's like, hey, brother, when it's wrong, this is wrong. But when they also heard of the worship of those gods whom the Parthians adore, they thought the injury of Aeneas offered to their laws was to be borne no longer. And a greater number of them came to Aeneas and loudly complained of Aeneas and told him that it had been well that he had of himself seen what was advantageous to him, but that, however, it was now high time to correct what had been done amiss, before the crime that had been committed proved the ruin of himself and all the rest of them. They added that the marriage of this woman was made without their consent and without a regard to their old laws, and the worship which this woman paid to her gods was a reproach to God whom they worshiped. Now Aeneas was sensible of his brother's offense, that it had been already the cause of great mischiefs, and would be so for the time to come. Yet did he tolerate the same from the goodwill he had so near a relation, and forgiving it to him on account that his brother was quite overborne by his wicked inclinations. But as more and more still came about him every day, the clamors about it became greater. This is where the pride is coming in. People are telling you you're doing wrong. The Most High sending the warnings. He at length spake to Aeneas about these clamors, reproving him for his former actions and desiring him for the future to leave them off and send the woman back to her relations. But nothing was gained by these reproofs. For as the woman perceived that a tumult was made among the people on her account, and was afraid for Aeneas, lest he should come to any harm for his love to her, she infused poison into Aeneas' food, and thereby took him off, and was now secure of prevailing, when her lover was to be judge of what should be done about her. Check that out. She took the Jezebel route. Now, you know Jezebel was a foreign Canaanite woman to Issacharite. So you got this Persian woman here, and she turns into a Jezebel, takes matters into her own hands to save her husband, because they were against her and her gods. Was it all worth it for this one woman? Was it all worth it? So Aeneas took the government upon himself alone and led his army against the villages of the Mithridates, who was a man of principal authority in Parthian, and had married King Artabanus' daughter, and he also plundered them, and among that prey was found much money, and many slaves, as also a great number of sheep, and many other things, which when gained make men's conditions happy. Now when Mithridates, who was there at this time, heard that his village were taken, he was very much displeased to find that Aeneas had first begun to injure him, and to affront him in this present dignity, when he had not offered any injury to him beforehand. And he got together the greatest body of horsemen he was able, and those out of that number which were of an age fit for war, and came to fight Aeneas. And when he was arrived at a certain village of his own, he lay still there, as attending to fight him on the day following, because it was a Sabbath, the day on which the Jews rest. So when Aeneas was informed by a Syrian stranger of another village, who not only gave him an exact account of the other circumstances, but told him where Mithridates would have a feast. He took his supper at a proper time and marched by night, with an intent of falling upon the Parthians while they were unapprised what they should do. So he fell upon them about the 4th watch of the night. And some of them he slew while they were asleep, and others he put to flight and took Mithridates this dude's name is something else. Mithridates alive, and set him naked upon an ass or a donkey, which among the Parthians is esteemed greatest reproach possible. All right. And when he had brought him into the wood with such resolution, and his friends desired to kill Mithridates, he soon told them his own mind to the contrary, and said that it was not right to kill a man who was of the principal families among the Parthians. So he lost honor, because sometimes in war you would keep certain people of the legacy alive. Okay? That's just how it will be done. And greatly honored him with matching into the royal family, that so far as they had hitherto gone was tolerable. For although they had injured Mithridates, yet if they preserved his life, this benefit would be remembered by him to the advantage of those that gave it him. But that if be were once put to death, the king would not be at rest till he had made a great slaughter of the Jews that dwelt in Babylon. So because sometimes when you could have taken people out, they respect the fact as a warrior that they know you could have took them out, and they let it be out of respect. All right. So to whose safety we ought to have regard on both account of our relation to them, and because of misfortune befall us. We have no other place to retire to, since he had gotten the flower of their youth unto him. By this thought and this speech of his, his made in council, he persuaded them to act accordingly. So Mithridates was let go. But when he was going away, his wife reproached him that although he was son-in-law to the king, he neglected to avenge himself on those that had injured him, while he took no care about it, but was contented to have been made a captive by the Jews and to have escaped them. She bid him either go back like a man of courage, or else she sware by the gods of their royal family that she would certainly dissolve her marriage upon him, upon which partly because he could not bear the daily of her taunts, and partly because he was afraid of her insolence, lest she should in earnest dissolve their marriage unwillingly, and against his inclinations got together again as great an army as he could, and marched along with them, as himself thinking it a thing not to be borne any longer, that he, a Parthian, should owe his preservation to the Jews when they had been too hard for him in war. Now check this out. So they beat this guy, sent him on a donkey naked. He goes back, he gets embarrassed by his wife, and she like, listen, brother, you're going to have to go back like a man. No different than mama used to tell you in the hood, or I'm not going to be with you. You are embarrassing our culture. Check it out. But as soon as Ananias understood that Mithridates was marching with a great army against him, he thought it too ignominious a thing to tarry about the lakes, and not to take the first opportunity of meeting his enemies. And he hoped to have the same success and to beat their enemies as he did before, as also he ventured boldly upon the like attempts. Accordingly, he let out his army, and a great many more joined themselves to that army, in order to betake themselves to plunder the people, and in order to terrify the enemy again by their numbers. But when they had marched 90 furlongs, while the road had been through dry and sandy places, and about the midst of the day, they were become very thirsty, and Mithridates appeared and fell upon them, and they were in distress for want of water. On which account, and on the and on account of the same time of the day, they were not able to bear their weapons. So they got so thirsty they couldn't even hold their weapons up. They were dehydrated. So Aeneas and his men were put to an ignominious rout. All right. While men in despair were to attack those that were fresh and in good plight. So a great slaughter was made, and many 10,000 men fell. Now Aeneas and all that stood firm about him ran away as fast as they were able to in a wood, and afforded Mithridates the pleasure of having gained a very victory over them. But now came into Aeneas a conflux of bad men, who regarded their own lives very little, if they might but gain some present ease, insomuch that they, by thus coming to him, compensated the multitude of those that perished to flight. Yet were not these men like to those that fell, because they were rash and unexercised in war. However, with these he came upon the villages of the Babylonians, and a mighty devastation of all things was made by their injuries that Aeneas did them. So the Babylonians and those that had already been in the war sent to near to the Jews there and demanded Aeneas. But although they did not agree to their demands, for if they had been willing to deliver him up, it was not in their power so to do. Yet they desired to make peace with them, to which the other replied that they also wanted to settle conditions of peace with them, and sent men together with the Babylonians, who discoursed with Aeneas about them. But the Babylonians, upon taking this view of his situation and having learned where Aeneas and his men lay, fell secretly upon them as they were drunk and fallen asleep, and slew all they caught of them without any fear, and killed Aeneas himself. The Babylonians were now freed from Aeneas' heavy incursions. So the brother died from his pride, which had been a greater restraint to the effects that the hatred they bore to the Jews. For they were almost always at variance by reason of the contrariety of their laws, and which party soever grew boldest before the other, they assaulted the other. And at this time in the particular, it was that upon the ruin of Aeneas' party, the Babylonians attacked the Jews, which made those Jews so vehemently to resent the injuries they received from the Babylonians, that being neither able to fight them, nor bearing to live with them, they went to Seleucia, the principal city in those parts, which was built by Seleucia Nicator, one of the Greeks. It was inhabited by many of the Macedonians, but more by the Grecians. Not a few of the Syrians also dwelt there. And thither did the Jews fly, and lived there 5 years, without any misfortunes. But on the 6th year, so they went among the Edomite Greeks, a pestilence came upon these at Babylon, which occasioned new removals of men's habitations out of that city. And because they came to Seleucia, it happened that still a heavier calamity came upon them on that account, which I am going to relate immediately. Now the way of the living of Seleucia, which were Greeks and Syrians, was commonly quarrelsome, full of discords, though the Greeks were too hard for the Syrians. When therefore the Jews were come thither and dwelt among them, there arose sedition, and the Syrians were too hard for the other. By the assistance of the Jews, who were men that despise dangers, and very ready to fight upon any occasion. Talking about us, that we always ready to go at any time. Now when the Greeks had the worst in the sedition, and saw that they had but one way of recovering their former authority, and that was, if they could prevent the agreement between the Jews and the Syrians, they everyone discoursed with such of the Syrians as were formerly their acquaintance, and promised that they would be at a peace and friendship with them. So they had to, because we're so good, and when it comes to befriending people, we end up going to Seleucia befriending the Syrians, and the Macedonians and the Greeks there, they like, listen, we got to get back the spot in the place that we was before these Jews came here. So now this thing got stirred up. Okay. So let's see. Accordingly, they gladly, this is the end of it. Accordingly, they gladly agreed. So check this out, the end of this. Accordingly, they gladly agreed so to do. And when this was done by the principal men of both nations, they soon agreed to a reconciliation. And when they were so agreed, they both knew that the great design of such union would be their common hatred to the Jews. All because of our pride in women, sin and lust. The nations at the end of the day is going to stick by each other's side. The nations at the end of the day is going to stick by each other's side to come back against us. You see our weak parts? We got pride. We always want to do something our way, and we think that our way is the right way, instead of just sticking with what the way that Christ said. And Christ had gave these men grace. Huh? Let me tell you, man, it's something else. Even though we went there, and we probably were right in what we were doing when we were there and making sense and all that, at the end of the day, the nations will come together like they did in Psalms, I think it's 83, and conspire against us. Rather us be gone than them, even if they have a disagreement. They rather have a disagreement with each other and us not being it than it be us involved with that. Check that out. Accordingly, they gladly agreed so to do. And when this was done by the principal men of both nations, they soon agreed to reconciliation. And when they were so agreed, they both knew that the great design of such their union would be their common hatred to the Jews. Accordingly, they fell upon them and slew about 50,000 of them. Nay, the Jews were all destroyed, excepting a few who escaped, either by the compassion which their friends and neighbors afforded them, in order to let them fly away. These retired to Ctesiphon, a Grecian city, and situate near to Seleucia, where the king of Parthia lives in winter every year, and where the greatest part of his riches are reposited. But the Jews had here no certain settlement, those of Seleucia having little concern for the king's honor. Now the whole nation of Jews were in fear, both of the Babylonians and of the Seleucians, because all the Syrians that live in those places agreed with the Seleucians in war against those Jews. So most of them gathered themselves together and went to near the Nisibis and obtained security there by strength of those cities. Besides which their inhabitants, who were a great many, were all warlike men. And this was the state of the Jews at this time in Babylonia. Had to turn to some chumps again and hide because of our pride and sin. Over one little foreign woman. Is it that good, brothers? That's why Nehemiah was whipping behind. That's why Nehemiah was whipping behind. Because brothers was losing their mind. Huh? It's one thing you married, you done married this woman, you following the God of Israel. It's another thing that whether she's a Jew or a Gentile, that she's telling you to follow other gods. And you letting Eve tell Adam what to do. And listen, everybody was in their youth before. Everybody was in their youth ignorant and didn't know, things that you were not taught. And that's why I tell brothers in their 20s, I wouldn't be in a rush because you don't fully know who you are. You don't know which woman you want a lot of times. You're still learning a lot about yourself, about the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality of it. Sometimes your patience is not there. You're still gaining a lot of experience. The women, she's bearing child, in these 20s, and that's her best time. The man, he's going to be fertile a long time. Not that women are not, but I'm saying that's their prime. Man's prime is not in his 20s. He's still learning a lot of things. I'm telling y'all the truth. We, do what you want to do. It's no law against it, but I'm just telling you. It's very rare people in their 20s just be getting along because women just don't, when they look at them, a lot of times, the young women don't respect them. They want the high school sweetheart, but then they don't want to respect him. But they going to respect the mature man because the mature man, he just ain't playing that. And he don't care. The young man is like, don't leave. He's begging her and all that. Old man, like, listen, hit the road. I'll just get another one up in here. That's just the truth about it. And in some ways, the woman, she like that because they like the men who don't really want them like that. I don't know what it is with our sisters. The men who begging them and want to do right, she don't want them. She want the man who don't need her. That's just how it is. So, anyway, man, that's the lesson tonight. If you want to call in tonight, give a question or comment on the lesson. The number is, and I didn't check this old Google thing, so it should be good. All right. The calling number is 979-398-5875. If you want to get baptized and things like that, all you have to do is just send us an email. But please don't call in the show talking about you want to get baptized. It's just not for tonight. That's just not, what we're talking about right now. Please just talk about the lesson. This particular lesson. Please. When we do Q&As, you can call and ask any question. But tonight, please just keep it on the topic if you're going to call in. If not, I'm going to tell you right now. I got that good old homestead food coming through. Is it okay to cook with G? Of course. G comes from the cow. All right, but this is, I guess I have to do another little health Q&A. I'm probably going to have to do that soon. Probably going to have to do another health Q&A because I know we have thousands upon thousands of questions to ask and But listen how we just go through the same downfall. Once again, if you want to call in one more time, 979-398-5875. But look at the downfall that we always go through. It's really always the same, guys. If you haven't noticed. It's really always the same if you guys haven't noticed. Let me bring this up right here just in case somebody calls in. And every time I'm about to close this thing out, then y'all want to call in. If you want to call in now. Don't be shy and all of that. It's all good. Okay? If you want to get baptized, just send us an email. Go to the church site. Go to the email. Send us an email there, okay? We're going to get you in there. And be patient because it's so hundreds upon hundreds of people sending emails. And sometimes people, listen, we try and get to everybody as quick as possible, okay? But like I said, the downfall is always pride. giving brothers and sisters up, stealing, all these things of going against the law, going against our brothers. I want to put this out there too. Praise the Most High, Deacon Malak, Elder Rawchaa is out there building that beautiful St. Louis body back up. But I'm going to tell y'all something. And I'm going to tell you something. You got people starting new churches and doing what they want to do. They can do what they want to do. But if you going over there, wherever you trying to go, guess what? That's on you. That's on you. But I'm telling you right now, you don't get tossed to and fro to every wind of doctrine. It's not an honor to start something and take another man's sheep out of his fold and bring them into his fold. When another person don't know what it's like to start with nothing. That's what I'm telling you. So if you don't understand that, then you don't have honor. Period. And I'm going to tell you something else. Let me give you some other wisdom. If a shepherd is teaching you, it's certain things, if you've been there 5 years, you should have already known. But sometimes they will not teach you so that they can steal from you. So they can let you do whatever you're doing, which is not even allowed in the scriptures or the church. And you so naive, anything they tell you, oh, we got to do this, we got to get lamb, we got to go here, this. And the only thing they have your mindset on is escaping Babylon and what we got to do. You become naive, but it's certain basic things that you just miss out. And so your mind really don't understand the judgment of the scriptures. You're leaning on your own understanding, and you're dealing with judgment or reasoning with emotions. And guess what? Men can do what they want to do, but I'm telling you right now, we in the last days, and a lot of souls is being taken, so you might want to be careful because the shaking is on. But anybody who steals sheep out of another man's fold is a thief and a robber. And I know people send me things of people starting things, women trying to start things, and guys, it's all going to fail if it's not of Christ. I'm just telling you. All right? If you want to ask me homestead questions, we can do another live about the homestead very soon. Yeah, I think I can do you another live about the homestead very soon, and we could just ask homestead questions on there. But tonight, it was it was about how a man can be going through something, and he has faith in his own mind of what faith is. Does it? The Most High understands that he don't fully know everything. Give him a little mercy, not grace to sin, but giving him mercy, knowing how his mind works. He ended up coming up and then falling in pride and then just losing everything. Not only does he lose his own soul and fall, other people fall with it. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. So that's why I brung this out tonight. I know it was a little long and it was a little jumbled with the words, so I had to try to take my time because the words were so small reading on this screen. But we made it through it. But just let this be in your mind to not fall for the same okie doke, man. A woman's beauty is not that important for you to fall from your God. We already been through hell. Did we want to go to hell after this hell? Right? So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I thank you guys for coming on tonight. Once again, make sure. I'm going to put it up again in case you came in late, if you're new. Make sure you check this out really quick, okay? 1 second. I don't know why it's still on that. Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong thing here. 1 second. No wonder it did that. because it should just come up. Sorry about that. All right. If you came in late and you want to join our Hebrew and Bible Academy, all you have to do is go to historytimes.org, okay? And these are the lessons that we're going to be teaching. How Israel prepared to leave Egypt, how Israelites lost to Jerusalem. Lost Jerusalem, excuse me, not lost to Jerusalem. How Israelites lost Jerusalem in the book of Josephus, Ishmael, the Arabs, Jews, an in-depth lesson on the synagogue of Satan and those people who are living over there in that land today. AI technology in the days of Noah. Teaching ancient Hebrew and news, worldwide news to keep you up to date of what's going on in the end times. You want to be in there, all right? It's from Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? Go to historytimes.org. All right? You need you some supplements for your health. Yeah, that's what I have to teach pretty soon. All right? Very, very important, this thing here. A lot of minerals are not in the soil. Oh, man. I'm going to have to keep going into this thing about the iodine. Too powerful. All right? Omega-3, 6, and 9s, gummies, magnesium. The winter is coming. Vitamin D3 needs to be high, especially for those of you who are up in the north, east coast. Vitamin D3, you need to be up there. Not just D3, vitamin D3 plus K2. So you can balance it out. You're not dealing with things like osteoporosis where vitamin D is just stuck in there. Magnesium balances out vitamin D3. D3 balances out magnesium. People who have low testosterone, hey, get on it. Stop walking around pudgy. You can't accept that. That's not something you need to accept. Get on your game and stop playing. You're better than that. You got iron issues. Get your lifetime iron here. It's a little piece. You ain't got no meat. If there's a fallout or something, you got this iron. Boil your iron. Very easy. Boil this little iron we got here. And guess what? Go to Lion's Homestead and get your copper. Go to our Lion's Homestead, get your copper so it can unlock the iron. Iron is not only released through vitamin C. All of these things work together for collagen. Period. Okay? Ashwagandha. You got to ask your daddy and your mama. That's how you got here. It's going to keep them in the mood for the groove and keep you in the... Let me tell you, this is another thing I take with Ultra Tests. I take both of these every single day. Okay? Very powerful berberine for the gut. Turmeric gummies, B complex for those who are not getting B vitamins, digestive enzymes for those of you who have issues digesting. Take your little apple vinegar, or you can take some digestive enzymes. We have papain and bromelain from papaya and pineapple in there. Mushroom blend for people who are dealing with fungus issues, candida. We got all the powerful mushrooms in here. Okay? All the powerful mushrooms in here. All right. You got reishi, shiitake, lion's mane, and you got other ones in there as well, okay? So, powerful blend there. Emergency immune for the winter, very, very powerful. Okay, you got your collagen there, and you got articles there to help you of how to take this stuff when it comes to the iodine and different things like that. So make sure you check that out, all right? Lion's Homestead, one more time for those of you who may just came on and who's new. Powerful minerals that the soil does not have anymore. We got the MSM back for you guys. Cold press, black seed oil, deodorant spray. I got that on right now. Totally powerful. All you got to do is hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, you're done. Good money. Tooth powder. I take that tooth powder, put me a little peroxide. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Make sure you got you some kefir so you can get vitamin D3 plus K2, your probiotics and all that. Boric acid capsules, you're dealing with things from the secret parts, men and women. If you have questions, we'll open it up for Q&A on another thing about all of these things. We have water purifier. We got water purification that you can purify on your homestead, whatever the case may be. Well, we got a caller here really quick, but you better not be asking about no health. All right. 704 area code. You got a question for us tonight?
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, Elder, I would say this, right?
Now, let me ask you a
Like,
question. Why you calling so late, man? Why you could call in earlier?
oh, yeah, I pulled up. I went on ahead and drove to my job, and I'm waiting outside my job, and because I didn't get that much rest, I got a
Okay.
second job, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm so thankful that you're doing this because I think it's the pride is getting into a lot of us, and that's one of the things that's going to destroy our soul, and even what you were saying like a little while ago, Elder, about um about the man and woman dynamic. I be my problem is, Elder, I believe that I react. I react. I gotta learn to control, and I constantly watch my watchmen, my leaders, you guys. I watch you guys, and I see how you guys handle things the right way, and I'm still working on myself over and over. So my question would be like, okay, what is it something that you did to negate the reaction part? Because I think that's my problem, Elder. Like, I could be having a good day and somebody come around, they having a bad day, and the next thing you know, I'm having a bad day. And instead of being like, all right, like you just said, I'll deal with you later. All right, peace. And walk away from the issue.
You can't be like that Denzel Washington movie. Well, in that movie, what it was called, I forget what it was called. When the spirits, every time somebody touch each other, then the spirit was jumping from one person to the next. No,
Yeah, falling. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
somebody having a bad day, you can't allow that to let you have a bad day. See, if I'm angry, I got something going on, I'm not gonna let it affect somebody around me. The Bible says to be angry and sin not. But if they got something going on, I'm not gonna let their spirits jump on me either. The whole deal is you got to just nip that quick and keep it moving. And because men don't supposed to really operate off emotion like that. We may get a little frustrated about 5-10 minutes. You pray about it and you keep it moving. If it's something really, that it got to be something really bad. But for the most part, you can't let nothing take you down, brother. Like you just, I'm not worrying about nothing that's going on of getting in my way of getting in the kingdom. So my mind just stays on the work. You know what I mean? That just, and I try to train my children up like that in my household. Like nobody have an attitude in my house. Like just, yes, people are going to get frustrated. You fix it quick. But it's just the practice of keeping the mindset of always just, not really focusing on emotion, because that's how these demons, that's how they win. They need bodies to jump in. The longer you stay in emotion and get used to that, you're going to give them a body to rest in for a period of time. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
and that's so. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So and that is key, Elder. And I thank you because I noticed that, and even what you said, like when I walk away from it or I nip it in the bud, all of a sudden it's like no matter whatever conversation or who is with, they realize their fault. So it's still up to me to like you said, like, because men, we don't operate in emotions, and most of the time our emotions come out when we're dealing with the opposite sex, and it shouldn't be anyway, because we men.
Yeah.
And yes, sir. And I thank you for that, Elder, because it's tough. It's getting worse. And what I noticed was some people say, they be like, oh well, you shouldn't deal with me, and that's the thing, you shouldn't deal with me. They'll tell you right to your face what it is.
Yeah, but like I said, man, you just gotta keep your mind focused on what matters. People's feelings and all of that. We try to respect people, love people, but it has to be nothing that can take us away from what our focus is about small matters and things like that. There's so much going on. You know what I mean? Just like we just read earlier today, like this guy and his feelings about this woman, he gonna let his whole nation fall about something that don't really matter. That woman don't matter like that. You know what I mean? Like he just lost everything. We can all lose it all in a minute through pride. So we just gotta just drop that pride, because pride comes before destruction, man. I tell you what, I had a man who told me something to where I'm not gonna lie. What he told me, I wanted to take him out. And we all can get like that. And he was a stranger. He wasn't in the truth of nothing. He was one of these thugs off the street. You know, I was in the street line, but I wouldn't call myself no thug. I'm just trying to make a little money. My mama still raised me with some sense. But he was one of them dudes, you know, you can't just fight him, you got to take him out. And so I said, you know what? I looked at him, I said, you know what, brother? God bless you. Because what he told me, it's something that back in the days, let me tell you, that's it for you. But I got my mom at the food truck, and I'm trying to be an example, so I just walked away. And I'm gonna tell you, it took a lot for me to do that. But if I'd have took him out, think about it. I'll be in prison, can't be there for my children, and for a dude who I lose more, and he don't really lose nothing because he don't have anything. So that's you know that's not the war we was called. That's to you know that's not the war we called to fight at the end. That's just a little demonic little attack. So I just try to stay out the way. I go by my business, and I go to certain stores. I don't go places where I know you know you can't hide from everything. But that's another thing why I keep a strong punch. I always work out, you know, and I just keep a strong punch just in case I ever got it. Somebody force my hand, and I'm gonna make sure I do it legally and lawfully. You feel me? But when I'm walking around, there's no fear, but I'm just staying out the way. I'm saying hello to everybody, you know, old, young, big, small, and that's just, you got to try to be peaceful among all men. When you're at work, people going to try you and say things. I tell my stepson, people try to try you, just tell them, listen, man, let me holler at you for a little second, man, on the side if you don't mind. You be real polite about it and tell them how you feel. If it goes further than there, go to HR. And HR fire him, or if you got to go hit your lawyer up, hit you a lawyer up. If you can't really afford a big lawyer, you just take up things like Legal Shield. You got little things called Legal Shield. You pay a little fee a month, and when you need them to fight a little case or you need them to help you with small things, they can help you with that. Believe it or not, and it's like it's a poor man's retainer for a lawyer these days, and you know, but you can't just do anything. But I'm just saying that's you pay taxes, use that way to fight. Because they finding any type of snare to get us in jail and prison these days. You know what I mean? So, but I thank you for calling in, man. I got another caller really quick, and I'm gonna try to get them in here. All right.
All right, Dwight, Elder, yes sir.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
Shalom.
Let me get this 469 area code really quick. 469 area code. Let's see if we can get you back in here. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why y'all calling so late unless you just heard. But it's all good. Shalom. Who we got calling in?
This is Juan. Juan from G.O.C.C. of Dallas.
You say your name is what, sir?
Aquan from G.O.C.C. of Dallas.
Okay, Aquan. All right. Nice to meet you, sir. You got a question or comment?
It's just a comment.
Okay, what we got?
Aquan.
You got me playing in the background. That's why it's echoing.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to tell him how I appreciate the things that was going on this lesson and what's going on in my life.
One second, brother. Did you turn me off in the background because it's echoing?
Oh, I apologize. David, turn that off. Turn that off.
No worries.
Okay. Shalom, Elder.
Hey, shalom.
How are you?
I'm doing all right, my brother. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Well, I've been listening to this lesson. This is my first time calling in. I apologize.
No worries.
Okay. I've been running across a lot of young brothers. I've been trying to be the one to go back and get that one of the 99 and be fishermen of men. And I've been running across what you're speaking on today. I've been telling them, you got to forget all of that and go get the Most High. Dig into the Holy Spirit and let them guide you.
Yes, sir.
Because you're coming off weak with these women.
Yes, sir.
And I hope I'm over-speaking my mouth. I just want them to come back to the fold.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter what a woman does. You come back and you repent from that. 30 of them missing. And we need them to be here
Mm-hmm.
in the body. That's the only thing that's going to work. If not, the body going to keep falling, keep losing. And it ain't the body's fault. It's the weak mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got to put off the weak nature, like Ezra said.
Yes, sir.
It's not an easy task, but I mean, we just have to get some discipline, because the Holy Spirit in Wisdom of Solomon said the Holy Spirit is a spirit of discipline. So we correct our diet, correct our crowd of people we hang around, make sure we're studying, like David said. You got to be in that word. And, you just got to find a love with this, that in a system for yourself, like-minded people, and you can't pretend it. You got to really be in it and want it. And the Most High is going to give you a way to pace yourself through it. And, just be ready to work for everything. And the Most High, he will provide, and you got to be ready to go to war. It's not going to be some easy little task, but it's just putting on those fruits of the Spirit and that armor and being patient, and you're going to fall sometime. You just get back up and just keep fighting. But the Most High makes a way for us all. So what you're saying is it's right on time. And I pray these young men, just continue to get it. And, maybe sometimes I'm bringing it this way, but, it's whatever way it comes out, it's just the truth, and people just have to accept it, because it's just going to make them better. I mean, Elder, when Elder Rawchaa was out there speaking, I was a young man, 24. I didn't know what I know today, but I was able to listen and learn and be patient and just soak up this knowledge. And 16 years later, here, I'm still here, learned a lot, and I'm able to just pass it on and just, so you're telling them right, man. They just gotta, humble themselves and realize what time we're in.
My regional elder told me, Elder Mark, said, "Be fishermen of men, wine." Because I love to fish, but he said, "Be fishermen of men," and I've been that way ever since I came in the body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I think
I don't want to see nobody leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's loving your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's a good work, my brother.
Ain't nowhere that can go anywhere. If you ain't in this, you lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you taking my call, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you and your family, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right now.
I met you at the airport. We was all on our way to the Pittsburgh body.
Okay.
It was my first time being on the watch with Officer DeWine, and we seen a guy that was walking towards your children, and I walked up and got in his way and told your kids and daughter, the Prince of Zion and the Princess of Zion, y'all need to walk this way. And I looked at him and I told you, I said, "We got you, Elder."
All
and
praises.
we did. We watched it.
All praises, man. Keep up the good work, man, and I pray I see you at Passive, all right?
Shalom.
Shalom, sir. Shalom. Well, thank you guys for calling in tonight. And don't ever be shy to call in, because we're family. Yeah, these lessons may come out with a little stripes, a little whipping belt, but it's all love, man. And we're trying in these last days to pull as many people out of the fire as possible, because we love our people, man. We're special, beautiful people. And if Mary Magdalene can make it in, let me tell you, a lot of you sisters can repent, turn away. You understand, if some of the disciples Christ called can make it in, y'all can make it in out there too. You know what I mean? So he just wasn't just picking people because they were perfect. You know what I mean? Everybody can get a chance at getting, into this kingdom and getting everlasting life. And we will rule very soon. The time is short. Once again, I am Elder Rawchaa. Make sure you subscribe to our other channel, our main channel, A Gathering 144 on YouTube. And we will be broadcasting from there tomorrow on Wednesday. Every week, it's Tuesday on here, on G.O.C.C. Media, A Gathering 144 on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And then you have on G.O.C.C. Media Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, with Elder Rawchaa and Deacon GOCC. Peace and blessings to you and your families. And let's stay on it. HistoryTimes.org. Let's join this Hebrew and Bible Academy and support this work, and let's keep going. Shalom.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy.